Hello students, welcome back in yet another class, chemistry class on chemical changes and reactions. Now in the previous class, I ended while doing simple displacement type of reaction, right? And I was showing you an experiment in which I had put some iron nails. I was showing, and if you do not remember, just see the previous video in which at the ending note I have shown the reaction in which in copper sulfate solution I have put some nails, iron nails, right? So iron nails, if it is not rusted, it is fresh iron nail, it would be silvery grey in color. Rusted iron would be brown in color, right? Rust is brown in color, but the reddish brown color. But then the fresh iron nail would be silvery grey in color. Alright, now we were doing simple displacement type of reaction. And what is simple displacement type of reaction? The reaction in which an active element, it should be an active element displaces, just throws away, just displaces the less active element from its compound. It should be compound. And the compound should be in which form? We should dissolve it. It should be in solution form. Reaction will not take place if you put in solid state, right? If this is in dry solid form, reaction will not take place. So if you see my previous video, I had dissolved copper sulfate in water. I put it in water and I had added iron nails. Now if you remember, what is the color of copper sulfate? Copper sulfate, what is the color of copper sulfate? You can see it's just almost like this. It is blue color. Copper sulfate, blue solution. Blue solution, SOLN stands for solution, blue solution. And I put in this. And I said that we'll wait and see what would happen. Now, let's see what has happened. This is what has happened. What is the color now, children? What is the color now? Is it blue? No. Because, why it is not blue? Because copper sulfate is blue because of presence of copper ions. Right? Copper ions. And as it is displaced, as copper is displaced, and now it is ferrous sulfate. Ferrous sulfate means ferrous ions and sulfate ions, and copper metal is formed. And ferrous sulfate is green in color, dirty green. Now, slightly dirty green, brownish tinge would be there because ferrous very quickly gets oxidized to ferric. So it is greenish and brown tinge is there. Brown because ferrous gets oxidized to ferric. Just to remember, if you cut a fresh apple, apple is rich source of iron, your mother must have told you many times, right? But if you leave it out for some time, what happens? Its edges and then it starts to turn brown because the iron present in apple is in ferrous form and it slowly gets oxidized and converts to ferric form, and ferric is brown in color and ferrous is green in color. So ferrous very quickly in air gets converted to ferric. So that is why you can see the brown shade. Now let's see what is the texture of nails. I'll take out few nails. What is color of copper? You are learning lot of things here, children. I'll pour in this another beaker. Now the displaced product copper, can you believe what I have got in the beaker? Copper. Where have you seen copper, children? At home. In the copper utensils are used at home. Now your parents must be using copper jugs or copper tumblers to drink water because it is said that water stored in copper containers is good for health. And many containers, the base of the cooking containers is copper. Best example of copper. Copper wire. The household wiring is of copper, right? So the wire inside, the color of the wire inside is reddish brown. Now what do we see here? Well, I'll get a forceps and show it to you. this has copper in it. Can you see this copper? Can you see this copper? The nail is coated with copper. Can you see it? I'll show you further. Lot of brown material is there, reddish brown material is coming out from there. This is all copper. So the displaced product, copper, is found in this. So what type of reaction we have done here? Simple displacement reaction, where more active element displaces the less active. Copper is less active, placed below in the series. Iron is more reactive, so it displaces. So that experiment shows this to you. Alright, so now we continue. So I'll now rub off the things, and now we'll continue with my fourth session, or fourth class on chemical changes and reactions, number 4. And the fourth type of reaction, double decomposition type of reaction. Well, fourth type, double decomposition reaction. The general format. What is the general format to show double decomposition reaction? There should be two compounds. Two compounds consisting of radicals or ions. So A and B. One is positive, one is negative. Reacted with CD, which is where C is one radical, D is another radical. Exchange of radical takes place. Exchange of radical takes place. Remember, double decomposition, exchange of radicals takes place from both the compounds, right? So exchange of radicals takes place. Now a positive combines with negative, so AD, not AC, AD. Positive is always written first and then negative, and then CB, because positive is always written first and then negative. So CB, right? So the exchange of radicals takes place, well, like this. Then the new products are formed, right? Few very important things. Well, what is a double decomposition reaction? The double decomposition reaction is a reaction in which both the compounds, and it is a must, it should be in solution form. I'll tell you why, in some time, why it is in solution form. They exchange the radicals to form new products. Now, what is the key word in here? Exchange of radicals takes place. Okay. So the reaction in which exchange of radicals takes place in both the compounds so as to form new products, two new products are formed. Such type of reaction is known as double decomposition reaction. Alright. As I said, this reaction can only take place when both of these are in solution form. What happens in solution form? It should be dissolved in water, children. It should not be in solid state. Solution. In solution, when it is in solution, ions become free. See, in solid state, ions are very strongly held by strong forces of attraction. So they are not free. They will not be free to move away. But when it is dissolved in water, ions are free. These two are free, and this is also free. Right? They are in the solution form. Now it is possible that A can combine with this, and it is possible once it is combined, then no option, these two would be there. Now, this type of reaction would be possible if it combines and separates out. If it doesn't separate out, then there will be 4 ions later on also. So if it combines and separates out as insoluble, because if it is soluble, it is remaining in ion state only. So if it combines and separates out in solid form, then this reaction will take place. And that reaction, one of the types of that reaction in double decomposition is known as precipitation. Precipitation. So double decomposition One type is called as precipitation. Now what is precipitation reaction, children? The word as it is indicating precipitation means the reaction in which precipitate is formed. Precipitate is formed. I'll tell you the difference between precipitate and insoluble. Do not get confused. Precipitate is a different word, insoluble is different word. You take chalk and put it in water, it settles down because it is not soluble, so it is insoluble. You take some pebbles and put it in water, it settles down, it is insoluble, right? You take sand and you put it in water, doesn't dissolve, so it is insoluble. What is precipitate? When do we use this word precipitate? It's a chemistry term, so you should be very careful. When two solutions are mixed, you mix two solutions and then an insoluble product is formed. When you mix two solutions and then an insoluble product is formed, then that insoluble product is called as precipitate. Only then it is called as precipitate, and that reaction is known as precipitation reaction. Alright? So what is precipitation reaction? A reaction in which two solutions react to form an insoluble product. Insoluble one. Both cannot be insoluble. Only one is insoluble. An insoluble product is known as precipitation reaction, and the insoluble product. And what is the insoluble product known as? And the insoluble product is known as precipitate. And the insoluble product is known as precipitate. Short form of precipitate is PPT. PPT is an accepted short form, you can always write. So precipitate is formed. Well, something, how do you know which substance is soluble or insoluble? If you don't know, then you will not be able to write a reaction with, how would you know that? I'll take some examples and I'll also tell you a very simple few statements I'll give you, and if you remember those statements, you will be able to tell solubility of most of the substances. Alright, so let's continue with some example of precipitation reaction. I'll first write example, one or two examples. Example 1. Now I am taking copper sulfate, okay, and I have added NaOH to it, both in solution form. Exchange of ions takes place. Copper hydroxide is formed, which is insoluble. Precipitate is shown by an arrow pointing downwards. And what is the other product formed? The other product formed is sodium sulfate. Formula Na2SO4. So I have to balance it because now it is 2. Alright, it is balanced. One more example. Ferrous chloride and potassium hydroxide. When the exchange of ions takes place, ferrous hydroxide is insoluble, it is precipitate, it settles down, precipitate settles down, so arrow pointing downwards. Arrow pointing downwards indicates it is a precipitate always. And what is formed? Potassium chloride. So again we balance it. 2 and 2. Alright. So where is the insoluble product formed? Here these two are the insoluble product formed. Because as I said, if they are soluble, soluble means ions are free. Insoluble means what? Ions are free. So 4 ions would be free. Here also same 4 ions are free. Here also actually no reaction takes place. We just write in the notebook, but if nothing insoluble is formed, then no reaction has taken place. So keep that in mind. So for double decomposition to take place, something insoluble should be formed on the product side when two solutions are mixed. I'll try to show one experiment also on this, and you will see the formation of precipitate, right? Okay, so yes, as I was telling you, first of all, when you're writing the heading, children, this time I have not written the definition of double decomposition. So when you're given this heading, here you will define double decomposition, right? Then you will write this, okay? Then this is the key word to remember. It's just a part of the definition. This would help you to remember that in double decomposition, exchange of radicals takes place. Then you will give the first part, precipitation, the definition, and then these two examples, right? Okay, so this all should be in your notebook. So I am rubbing this off, and now I'll give you a simple few statements, which I give the heading as solubility chart. So the next heading after precipitation and this example would be solubility chart. So then you will know which one compounds are soluble, which are insoluble, and it is required to you, right? Whatever I am giving you would be required for your understanding, then only you will be able to proceed further. Okay. So I am giving the heading in continuation, solubility chart. Few things in chemistry are to be done side by side to understand things in a better way. Like activity series of metals is important to understand so many types of reactions. Same way, solubility chart. Not only in class 9, in class 10 also you will realize its importance. Okay, number 1. All sodium, potassium and ammonium, these are the radicals, right? Ammonium compounds are soluble. Compounds are soluble. When we say about solubility chart, it is in water. Water, the universal solvent. We are talking about solvent is water, whether it is soluble or insoluble in water. Second, you will be writing this, right? And memorize it also. All sulfates are soluble. Now these are exception you have to learn, because remaining all are soluble. Now except calcium sulfate, barium sulfate, lead sulfate, you can also say silver sulfate. All sulfates are soluble except these 4 sulfates. Now when I say sulfates, again you have to remember activity series. Potassium sulfate, PSC mesyl, potassium sulfate, sodium sulfate, calcium sulfate, mesyl, magnesium sulfate, aluminum sulfate, zinc sulfate, iron, ferrous ferrate, lead, plumbic, like that. So those only you have to remember, right? Basically those are the ones in your syllabus. Few exceptions like barium I have added up, because it will be needed in practical in class 10, so barium I have added up. Okay. Then number 3, all chlorides are soluble except which ones? Mercurous chloride, silver chloride and PbCl2. Well, for PbCl2, only for this PbCl2, it is soluble in hot water. Only for this, only for PbCl2. it is soluble in hot water. Otherwise, all these are insoluble. And rest all chloride, sodium chloride, potassium chloride, ammonium chloride, zinc chloride, calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, all are soluble except which ones? These ones. Then number 4, all oxides and hydroxides are insoluble. Okay, are insoluble. Insoluble. Except, well, except which ones? Because they are all compounds are soluble, so their oxides and hydroxide would also be soluble. Although ammonium oxide is never formed, but since I'm giving general form, so you will not come across only ammonium oxide. Except which oxides or hydroxides? Sodium. Except those of sodium, potassium, ammonium. Now I am adding one more. Calcium. Calcium oxide and calcium hydroxide is slightly soluble. Slightly soluble. This is slightly soluble. So I am writing sparingly soluble. We use the word sparingly. Slightly soluble. Sparingly, little bit. Sparingly soluble. Okay. So all oxides and hydroxides are insoluble except of these 4, and for calcium slightly, so we can't say it is insoluble because we do get calcium hydroxide solution. You know where? Calcium hydroxide, you have studied? Where do you get calcium hydroxide? I'll show you. Calcium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide. Here it is, calcium hydroxide. This is calcium hydroxide. And what is this? Lime water. We use it to test for carbon dioxide. So its solution is formed. So how is it formed? When it is slightly soluble. So we write it as sparingly soluble. Then number 5. All carbonates, phosphates, sulfides and sulfides are what? Are insoluble. Are insoluble except those of except those of which ones? Same. Sodium, potassium and ammonium. Except for these 3, all carbonates, all sulfides and all sulfides, phosphate, they are all insoluble. And which ones you have to remember? Those metals which you do in the activity streams, right? Those only. So this is the solubility chart, right? Now your problem of precipitation will be solved. For precipitation, what do we need? 2 compounds. In which form? Solution form. They should be soluble. And the product form should be insoluble. One product should be insoluble. Then only the reaction would take place, and that reaction is called as what? Precipitation, which is an example of what? Double decomposition type of reaction. Right, children? Is it clear? So this should be noted down, and you have to remember, memorize it by heart, because this would help you to remember which compounds are soluble and which are insoluble in water. Remember these 5 points? You remember, right? So make sure you write it in your notebooks. Okay. So now, double decomposition reaction is of 2 types. One is precipitation and the other one is neutralization. Neutralization. The other one, second one, neutralization. Neutral. Acid and base, when they combine, they become neutral. And the process in which an acid reacts with base to form salt or neutral substance called as neutralization. So what is the second type? Neutralize. Double decomposition, second type is neutralization. 2 types, precipitation, neutralization. And whenever an acid reacts with base, It forms salt plus water. It is neutralization reaction. HCl, acid. H2SO4, acid. HNO3, acid. Well, base, if you have doubt, again an important term. If you do not know what is a base, I am writing just how to know whether it is a base. I am not writing definition. Oxides or hydroxide of metal or ammonium. Any oxide of metal or hydroxide would be a base. Any oxide. So I am taking some base. Say zinc oxide, maybe sodium hydroxide, and maybe potassium hydroxide. They are all bases, oxide or hydroxide. Okay, I'll make it as hydroxide. It can be both, children, oxide or hydroxide. And acid, I have taken the common examples. Acid always has hydrogen. Acid always has hydrogen. Base always has oxide or hydroxide. So this hydrogen part combines with this to form water. Hydrogen part combines with this to form water. Hydrogen part combines with this to form water. What is formed? Water is must. Water. In all the three cases, water would be formed. And what else would be formed? Two radicals combine, exchange of ions, zinc, chloride, sodium, sulfate, potassium, nitrate. Exchange of radicals takes place. So hydrogen from acid and hydroxide or oxide, it can be oxide also, react to form water, and these two combine to form salt. That is called as salt. Let's balance it because this is not balanced. So it would be 2 here. Now it is 2. It is balanced now. Now this is 2 here. So it is balanced now. Now it is balanced. Then this is balanced. The third one is balanced on its own. So what we did today, children, in today's class, we have done double decomposition type of reaction in which exchange of radicals takes place. There are 2 different types. One is precipitation, in which when 2 solutions are mixed, it combines to form an insoluble product. The insoluble product is I would need some water. The insoluble product is called as precipitate. I am showing you precipitation reaction of the one copper sulfate, because I have copper sulfate. So I take little bit of copper sulfate. In my previous experiment also I have taken. Well, I don't need to do all this. You know why? I already have ferrous sulfate. You remember? Copper reacting to form ferrous sulfate. And I will just add a base to it. No. Alright. It would form. Insoluble product would form. Oh, this does not work. Well, I'll have to take copper sulfate and the base. Let me check whether I have base with me or not. Yes, I have. So I'll show you with copper sulfate, children. So you will be seeing a precipitation reaction. Again, you will be able to see the blue color, very bright blue color of copper sulfate. Copper sulfate will be studying in many experiments. Since it is blue in color, it is also called as blue vitriol. I have taken little bit. It should dissolve. Blue vitriol. Let's dissolve it. And now I'll add NaOH. Little bit has dissolved. That should show the reaction should be done. I have added NaOH. You will see, you can see turbidity there. Insoluble copper hydroxide would be formed. I don't have the chemicals of the lab. There is a makeshift arrangement which I have tried so that I can show you all little bit. Now you can see that insoluble precipitate is formed. You can see that turbidity, that insoluble substance. Lot of insoluble precipitate is formed. It is pale blue in color. See, you can see it is very turning dirty. So insoluble precipitate, right? So this whole reaction, if I turn it into the test tube, it would be easily seen by you all. You can see it is insoluble particles, you can see. So insoluble precipitate. So this is a precipitation reaction. Right children? So make the notes of this double decomposition type of reaction, and remember memorize the solubility chart, because you have to memorize it, and the two definitions, precipitation and neutralization, and examples of that. So complete this, then we'll continue in our next class. Now I want to take a test. I'll be putting up a test revision sheet of language of chemistry, and you will be doing that revision sheet. I'll be uploading it very soon, so that you can do the revision test of both the chapters of which we have done earlier, that is language of chemistry. First I'll put up language of chemistry, right children? So be prepared, take care, and make the notes regularly. God bless you.